Food for thought. Learn who you are. That's super vague, super blank, a very blanket statement. But who are you? You are an employee, a student, a father, a mother, a daughter, or a son. You have so many things that you label yourself as. But are you boxing yourself in? It is super easy to define yourself as something because it's safe. You feel comfortable being your job, doing your job, going through your habitual life, day to day, hour by hour, minute by minute. But sometimes I think there are moments that you are awakened, that you question, is this really who I am? And in those times, you just gotta dive for it. You gotta be open to what if you don't wanna do this? You have to be open to what the world gives you. Because what if this next jump, this super duper duper far jump, is the next jump to your journey? Is the plot twist of what you wanted? Because maybe this entire time, maybe you've been looking for a job. Maybe you've been searching for something else than what you've currently been living. And all you need to do is take that jump. And then it'll be on the other side. But then what if you don't take it? Because you're so comfortable being in this box that you've identified yourself with. Because it is so easy to begin to consume like-minded content. Because you feel like you found a community. You feel that you are this, and you are solidified and reaffirmed that this is what you are, and this is who you are, and this is who you want to become. But then sometimes in life, the world stops and it shakes you and it makes you think of something else. And it's scary. It's really scary. What if I've been doing this for my entire life and I've been completely wrong? What if I should have been doing this my entire life, but I've been doing this? But it's never too late. It is never too late to redefine yourself. And it's very scary. It is so scary from doing something that you are so comfortable with to something that is unknown. Because this is the thing that you've found within yourself, to become your identity. Because sometimes it's hard to be lost in the unknown. And then when you finally feel something that you can identify with, it feels like home. But then sometimes, there's like a person walking down the hill. But then you feel sometimes that that's not what's right for you. And it gets scary. And that's okay. And I think within that scariness, there's a fear of the unknown. But what if this entire time that your intuition knows and it's kind of pulling you towards this way, but you're kind of too scared to move over there? And I think that's kind of like life. It's kind of crazy. I'll share this. So I literally took my physics final Monday, my quantitative Gen Chem final Tuesday. I didn't have any finals on Wednesday. Then I just did my paper and I did some stuff. And then today I had just some paper and then a class that I went to. And the last class, I was contemplating on going or not. And because the workshop this morning at 8 a.m., it was optional, but I went in later to get some help for my paper. And then the last class that I decided to go to, it was my business ethics class. I enjoyed thoroughly that class. I loved that class. It was such a new perspective that I've never seen in my entire life. And I go to that class, and it's literally about this director and how struggled as any person in that industry does. They struggle. Some make it out, and he did. And when he rose to that fame, he also chose to buy more things because he had more ways of getting those material objects, more houses, private jets, all this other stuff. And in this situation, it was talking about communion, community, and being as a whole together, as we are humans. We love being with other people. Like, I should say we are usually made. Humans are made to have connections. Some are better and some are more comfortable being by themselves. But I do think at times introverted people do like to have company once in a while. But he was talking about that, and he was showing how humans have competitiveness or cooperation. And that in certain tribes, there is a lot of cooperation and little competition. But with this modern society, it's a lot more competition rather than the lack of cooperation. And there was a specific example that he gave, was that the hunters would hunt, the sick and the old would be fed. But then all of a sudden, when the hunter felt that he was doing his job to the best, he felt like he should take more. And when he did, that meant the elderly and the sick had less, but he had an abundance. While as before, when he was generous, everybody was fed, everybody had enough. But then once the balances didn't balance, they didn't have that balance anymore. The old and the dying didn't have enough, so they were left behind. And it's that mentality of having that abundance when the people below you don't even have enough. And it really just drew my mind, and it was just something that I've never even thought of from the perspective of looking at animals. Animals don't really do that. They gave an example of elk going to the drinking hole, like a water hole, and that you would think there's like the big buck who is very dominant, who's very much like the leader. And scientists observed that as they were looking for their like watering hole, the deer would look out of like 3 directions to different watering holes. And when the 51st, like the 50th, like 51, the deer that was the 51st deer to turn their head, they went all together. And the buck that was like the alpha was left behind. And it was just so crazy to see that in the democracy and being able to come together, it was just like, interesting. And then it led on to service of others, being able to take care of one another, cooperation and teamwork rather than competition. And it was showing examples of service of like for example, like 9/11. That was a place when people came together. There were so many other things of like in the Tiananmen Square, or I don't even know if it was a Tiananmen Square, but it was just so many examples of like global wide people coming together, like MLK and what he stood for and what he stands for. Peacefulness, and like the Dalai Lama and Mother Teresa, Gandhi, all those people giving and sharing and having that abundance of love to give, rather than the other way around of taking what they could not have given, or like not even from that perspective, but just like their generosity and being able to give and know that to share. And it's like, it really made me think like, man, I feel like we're not definitely like taught enough of stuff about like humanitarian issues, unless you like want to study that. And it like made me think like, maybe I want to like change things in like what I'm studying. Because it's like, not that I don't find this like fine, like, because it's fine, but I think I just don't really have a passion for it. And that like, maybe there's other things out there. And that it's fine that just to maybe take a leap of faith of even taking like a few more classes or like getting like an ethics minor or something like that. And not to be afraid. Because like my original plan was to get a business minor. And I was like, maybe an ethics minor instead. But we'll see. And we'll see how things go. But I know that like everything works out. Like I keep telling myself that everything will be fine. And that everything does work out because like I'm here, I've gotten this far. And nothing has gone too terribly bad. But I think, I don't know if I've said this or not, but there's been many times that have like not been the sunniest. And I was like talking to my dad and I was like, these will just be the times that I look back and laugh about how bad it was and like being able to laugh. And I was like in the crying moments. It's like, maybe. And that's okay. I think you kind of have to make the best out of it in a way of laughing about things, because sometimes that's the only way you can get through things, is just by laughing. Because the alternative is just crying, which is also fine, but sometimes not the most opportune thing you really want to be doing when you're in the middle of a class. I'm just kidding. If you want to cry in class, that's fine. I just don't feel comfortable doing that in class, but you do you. And then even though things do seem scary at first, I think taking that leap of faith for yourself is what maybe might be the thing that gets you through the day in a week and a month from now. Or even from like a few months from now. That maybe you'll have, I don't know if you're in class right now or like what job you have, or if you're like, whatever, put it in your own context. I guess I'm just putting it in my context. But like, maybe if you take like a different opportunity or a different route to work or change up your habit or something, maybe it'll turn out for the best, and that maybe you'll like meet a new friend or have a better day, or like literally run into somebody that could change your life for the better. And so I think that's why it's like okay to change yourself and to redefine yourself, because if you pigeonhole yourself into a small box, maybe it might not allow you to fully grow to your full capacity. And I don't even know. I was gonna say, and that's fine if that's what you want to do, but I would advise you to maybe try to step outside of your box, even though it's uncomfortable, but you do what you want to do. And life is what you make of it. And it'll all just be ducky. Great. I don't know. I like to be like, it's ducky, as in like, it's great, but yeah, life will be great. Life will be ducky. Food for thought.